Do you ever find yourself looking at your toddler, that whirlwind of energy and curiosity, and just wondering, what can we do today? Something that truly captures their attention, something more than just fleeting entertainment. Are you sometimes scrolling, searching for ideas, feeling that quiet pressure to provide enriching experiences, but your own energy reserves are feeling a bit, well, toddler drained? And deep down, isn't there a powerful hope, a real yearning to see your little one not just play, but to actually master things, to gain that spark of confidence that comes from doing something all by themselves, even something small? It's such a common feeling, that desire to fill their days meaningfully, especially when the toy basket is overflowing, yet nothing seems to hold their interest for long. We want to nurture their incredible potential, to help them develop those foundational skills, but it can feel overwhelming to figure out how, especially without investing in a whole new playroom's worth of gear. The truth is, our homes are already rich with opportunities for our toddlers to learn and grow, using the simplest of items. Today, we're going to explore exactly that. We're going to dive into the wonderful world of what are often called practical life activities. I'm going to show you 5 super simple, yet incredibly powerful activities you can set up for your toddler using things you almost certainly already have in your kitchen cabinets or around your house. We'll look at each one, why it's so fantastic for their development, and exactly how you can introduce it. By the end of our time together, you'll have a go-to list of engaging activities that your toddler will genuinely love. More than that, you'll see how these simple tasks help them build concentration, fine motor skills, coordination, and that beautiful blossoming of independence. Imagine a few more pockets of focused, happy engagement for them, and perhaps a few more moments for you to breathe, knowing you're fostering their natural drive to learn and contribute. It's about making the everyday magical and meaningful. So let's start with an activity that seems so basic, but is packed with learning: pouring. Pouring is one of those fundamental skills that toddlers are often fascinated by, and for good reason. Think about it. It involves such careful control, such focused attention. When a toddler is learning to pour, they're not just transferring liquid or objects from one container to another. They're conducting a mini experiment in physics. They're learning about volume. How much can this pitcher hold? What happens if I tip it too fast or too slow? They're developing crucial hand-eye coordination, judging the distance and the angle. And importantly, they're practicing self-control and precision, skills that are vital for so many other areas of life. This isn't just about eventually pouring their own juice without a flood. It's about building pathways in the brain for careful, considered action. It helps them understand cause and effect in a very tangible way. Plus, there's a real sense of accomplishment when they get it right, or even when they get a little bit closer to getting it right. So how can you set this up at home? It's wonderfully simple. You'll want to start with dry materials, as they're much more forgiving. Think about dried beans, lentils, rice, large pasta shapes, or even small pom-poms. You'll need 2 small, identical pitchers or jugs, ideally with a good spout that's easy for little hands to manage. Plastic is often a good choice to start. Place one pitcher, filled about halfway with your chosen dry material, and the empty pitcher side by side on a tray. The tray is key. It defines the workspace, but more importantly, it contains any spills, which makes cleanup much less stressful for everyone and allows the child to focus on the task without worrying too much about making a mess. When you introduce it, show them slowly and deliberately, without too many words. Pick up the full pitcher with one hand, perhaps steadying the spout with the other. Slowly tip it towards the empty pitcher, aiming the contents carefully. Pour steadily until it's empty, or until they signal they want to turn. Then, place it down and invite them to try. Your role here is mainly observational. Resist the urge to jump in and correct every little wobble or spill. Spills are part of the learning process. They learn to adjust their movements based on what happens. If a lot spills, they might pour more slowly next time or adjust their aim. You can gently say, "Oops, some spilled. That's okay. We can pick them up later." Or if they seem frustrated, let's try holding it with 2 hands this time. The goal is for them to discover the right technique through practice. As they get more confident and skilled with dry pouring, you can then introduce water. This adds a new level of challenge and sensory experience. Start with a very small amount of water in 1 pitcher. You might want to add a drop of food coloring to make it more visible and engaging. Again, use a tray and perhaps have a small sponge or cloth nearby specifically for them to wipe up any drips. This empowers them to take care of their own workspace. You'll see their concentration deepen as they try to control the flow of the liquid. It's fascinating to watch them. A relatable moment for many of us is when our toddler insists on helping pour something at the dinner table, and our heart skips a beat. This activity, in a safe and controlled setting, gives them the practice they need to eventually manage those real-life pouring tasks with more success and less widespread spillage. It's not just about the skill itself, but the patience and focus it cultivates. You're not just teaching them to pour. You're teaching them how to learn, how to persist, and how to refine their movements. Now, once they've had some practice moving materials by pouring, a natural next step is to explore transferring items using tools. This is another fantastic way to build those crucial fine motor skills and hand-eye coordination, but it introduces the added complexity of manipulating an implement. Think about all the times in a day we use tools to move things, from eating with a spoon or fork to writing with a pencil. These activities are the very building blocks for those skills. Transferring tasks help develop the pincer grasp, that ability to pick up small items between the thumb and forefinger, which is so essential for writing, buttoning clothes, and so many other detailed tasks. It also requires a great deal of concentration and patience. To set up a transferring activity, you'll again want a tray to keep things contained. You'll need 2 bowls or containers placed side by side. In the left-hand bowl, if you're subtly encouraging that left-to-right progression that aids in pre-reading skills, though it's not a rigid rule, place a collection of items to be transferred. These could be anything from soft pom-poms or cotton balls, which are great for beginners, to larger, more graspable items like Duplo blocks, large dried pasta shapes, or even small animal figures. Then, you'll need a tool for transferring. Start with something easier, like a small scoop or a large spoon. As their skills develop, you can introduce more challenging tools like smaller spoons, sugar tongs, or even child-safe tweezers for very small items like beads, always ensuring items are age-appropriate and not choking hazards. When you introduce this, again, demonstrate it slowly and clearly. Show them how to hold the spoon or tongs, how to scoop or grasp an item from the first bowl, move it carefully across to the second bowl, and then release it. Try to make your movements economical and precise. Then, invite them to have a turn. You might notice they struggle at first. They might drop items, or the tongs might spring open unexpectedly. This is all part of the process. Encourage them gently. Keep trying, you almost got it. Or, watch how I hold the tongs. Sometimes, just sitting quietly and letting them persevere is the most helpful thing you can do. They are learning so much from their own trial and error. Think about the everyday connections. When your toddler is learning to feed themselves with a spoon, this activity is directly practicing those very movements, scooping, balancing, and aiming. Or when they're trying to pick up a tiny Lego piece, those tweezer-like tongs are building the exact muscles and coordination needed. You can vary this activity endlessly to keep it fresh. Change the items being transferred, change the tools, or even change the containers. Perhaps they transfer water with a sponge, squeezing it from one bowl to another. Or they could transfer small erasers with tongs into an ice cube tray, one in each compartment. This adds an element of one-to-one correspondence, a pre-math skill. You'll likely observe moments of intense focus, that flow state where they are completely absorbed in the task. It can be incredibly calming and satisfying for a toddler to successfully move all the items from one bowl to the other. And then, often they'll want to tip them all back and start again. This repetition is vital for learning and mastery. It's not just busy work, it's brain-building work. It's also a wonderful opportunity to introduce language. Scoop, grasp, gentle, careful, one by one. You're not just fostering physical skills, but also enriching their vocabulary and understanding of these concepts. It's about giving them the chance to feel capable and successful with tools, which is a big step towards independence. Speaking of those little hands becoming more capable, so much of a toddler's daily exploration involves figuring out how things open and close. From the snack container to the toy box, to even their own zippers and buttons eventually. Understanding these mechanisms is a huge part of their growing independence and problem-solving abilities. An activity focused on opening and closing various containers can be incredibly engaging and beneficial for them. It directly works on fine motor skills, hand strength, wrist rotation, and that all-important bilateral coordination, using two hands together to accomplish a task. Setting this one up can be as simple as gathering a collection of safe, interesting containers and putting them in a basket or on a tray. Think variety here. You could include small plastic food containers with snap-on lids, empty and clean screw-top jars. Make sure the lids aren't too tight for them to manage initially. Small, empty cosmetic jars, an old zippered pencil case, or even a small, sturdy cardboard box with a lid. An old, small purse with a clasp can be fascinating, or a little coin purse with a zipper. The key is to choose items that offer different types of opening and closing mechanisms: snapping, twisting, zipping, lifting. Always double-check that all containers are clean and completely safe, with no small parts that could break off and become a choking hazard, and no sharp edges. When you introduce this, you might simply present the basket and let their curiosity lead the way. They'll likely pick up a container and immediately try to figure it out. If they seem unsure, you can pick one up yourself and slowly demonstrate how it opens and then closes. For a screw-top lid, you might say, "Watch, I twist, twist, twist it open, and now I twist, twist, twist it closed." For a snap lid, this one needs a little push. Click, it's open. You can add an element of surprise by hiding a small, interesting object, like a little animal figure or a colorful block, inside one or two of the containers. This adds a treasure hunt aspect that can be highly motivating. This activity is pure, hands-on problem solving. You'll see their little minds working as they try different strategies to get a container open. They might try pulling, then twisting, then perhaps shaking it. They are learning about cause and effect, about how different objects work. This is so valuable for developing persistence and frustration tolerance too. It's okay if they don't succeed immediately. Your role is to offer just enough support to prevent complete meltdown, perhaps by very slightly loosening a stubborn lid, but then letting them do the final part. The triumph on their face when they finally pop open a container they've been working on is priceless. Think about how often your toddler might bring you something, saying, "Open" or "Help." This activity empowers them to develop the skills to do it themselves, fostering that wonderful sense of autonomy. It's also incredibly portable. A small bag of interesting containers can be a lifesaver for keeping little hands and minds busy during car rides, while waiting at the doctor's office, or even during quiet time at home. It's a focused, engaging task that doesn't require a lot of space or create a lot of mess. And as they master these different mechanisms, They are building the foundational skills that will eventually help them with dressing themselves, zipping up a jacket, snapping buttons, or even opening their own lunchbox at preschool. It's about more than just the containers. It's about unlocking their ability to interact with and control their physical world. Now, once they've developed some dexterity with opening containers, it's a very natural progression to involve them in what often goes inside those containers, especially when it comes to food. Simple food preparation activities are not only incredibly engaging for toddlers, but also profoundly beneficial. This is where practical life skills really shine, as they connect directly to the daily rhythm and routines of family life. Involving your toddler in simple food prep, like spreading, fosters a wonderful sense of independence and competence. It also develops their coordination, introduces them to basic concepts of cooking, and can even encourage them to be more adventurous eaters. To set up a spreading activity, you'll need a few simple things, most of which you likely already have. First, a child-safe spreader. This could be a dull butter knife, the kind that's not sharp at all, a small flexible spatula, or even a wide craft stick. You'll need something soft to spread, like cream cheese, hummus, a smooth nut-free butter, always being mindful of any allergies, of course, mashed avocado, or a bit of jam. And finally, you'll need something to spread it on. Soft crackers, a slice of soft bread, perhaps with the crust removed to make it easier, or a rice cake. It's always a good idea to do this on a placemat or a tray to contain any mess and make cleanup easier for both of you. Before you invite your toddler to participate, get everything ready. Put a small dollop of the spread on a little plate and have the crackers or bread ready. Demonstrate the process slowly and clearly. Show them how to hold the spreader, how to scoop up a small amount of the spread, emphasizing just a little bit, and then how to gently glide the spreader across the surface of the cracker or bread. Then invite them to try. Supervision is key here, of course, especially with food, but try to let them lead the process as much as possible. They might make a glorious mess. They might put too much spread on, or too little. They might spread it unevenly, or even try to eat the spread directly from the knife. This is all part of their learning and exploration. The beauty of this activity is the immediate reward. They get to eat what they've made. This is hugely motivating. Imagine the pride on your toddler's face when they take a bite of a cracker that they prepared. It's a massive confidence booster. And there's a well-known phenomenon that children are often more willing to try new foods, or foods they previously resisted, if they've had a hand in preparing them. So if you're trying to introduce hummus, for example, letting them spread it on a cracker might just be the gateway to them accepting it. This is also a wonderful way to connect with your child in the kitchen, transforming what can sometimes be a hectic space into a place of shared activity and learning. Instead of them tugging at your leg while you try to make lunch, they can be right there beside you, engaged in their own purposeful task. You're not just teaching them a practical skill, you're inviting them to be a contributor to the family. You can talk about the food, its texture, its smell. You can count the crackers. It's a rich sensory and learning experience, and it moves them one step closer to being able to prepare simple snacks for themselves, fostering that independence we so want to see. It's a tangible way for them to feel capable and valued, and those are feelings that nourish them just as much as the food itself. Now, with any hands-on activity, especially one involving food or pouring water, there's almost always a little bit of mess involved. And that's not just okay. It's actually another wonderful learning opportunity. Because learning to clean up, to take care of one's own spills and messes, is an incredibly valuable practical life skill. It teaches responsibility, care for the environment, even if that environment is just their little tray, and the important concept of cause and effect. A spill happens, and we take action to remedy it. It also involves gross and fine motor skills, as well as sequencing. Get the cloth, wipe the spill, put the wet cloth in the designated place. Introducing cleaning activities doesn't have to be a chore. In fact, Toddlers often genuinely enjoy them, especially when they have their own child-sized tools and are shown how to use them effectively. For wiping spills, which is a common occurrence, you can set up a very simple activity. Have a small pitcher with just a tiny bit of water. Designate a spot on their tray or a waterproof mat where they can purposefully pour a small spill. Then, provide them with a small, absorbent sponge or a little cloth. Show them how to place the sponge or cloth over the spill, how it soaks up the water, and then how to wring it out into a small, empty bucket or bowl. They might want to repeat this over and over, and that's fantastic practice. Beyond just spills from activities, you can involve them in real-life cleanup. If they spill a little juice at snack time, instead of you immediately rushing to wipe it up, you can calmly say, "Oops, a little spill. Let's get your special wiping cloth." Having their own cleaning tools kept in an accessible place makes a huge difference. A small dustpan and brush, a little hand broom, or a small duster can all be very appealing. You could show them how to dust a low shelf or a table leg. They might not do it perfectly, and that's not the point. The point is participation, the development of the habit, and the feeling of contribution. Another favorite for many toddlers is washing. This could be washing their plastic animal toys in a small basin of soapy water with a brush, or even helping to wash a few non-breakable dishes at a low sink or in a basin on the floor. A small spray bottle filled with plain water and a little squeegee can provide endless entertainment, cleaning a low window or a mirror, with supervision, of course, to ensure they don't spray it everywhere. They are practicing so many skills: spraying, hand strength, wiping, squeegeeing, coordination, and control. The language you use around these activities is important. Instead of framing cleanup as a punishment or a negative consequence, frame it as a natural part of doing things. "We had fun painting, and now it's time to clean our brushes." Or, "After we eat, we wipe our table." It helps them understand that taking care of their space and their things is just a normal, expected part of life. You'll often find that toddlers take great pride in these jobs. They love to imitate the adults around them, and when they see us cleaning, they naturally want to participate. Providing them with the means to do so in a way that's appropriate for their age and abilities fosters that sense of responsibility and capability. It's not about achieving a spotless house with toddler help. It's about instilling values and skills that will last a lifetime. It's about them understanding that they have an active role to play in caring for their world. As you can see, these simple activities using items you likely already have are about so much more than just keeping a toddler occupied. They are quiet ways of building a very strong foundation. When your child is deeply engrossed in pouring beans from one pitcher to another, or meticulously transferring pom-poms with a pair of tongs, they are not just playing, they are cultivating concentration, a skill that will serve them in every aspect of their future learning. They are refining their physical coordination, gaining mastery over their own movements, which builds immense confidence. They are learning patience, persistence, and the quiet joy of focused effort. These moments, where you step back and simply observe their intense engagement, are precious. You're witnessing their innate drive to learn, to understand, to become competent. It's a beautiful reminder that our children come equipped with this incredible capacity for growth. And our role is often just to prepare the environment, offer the opportunity, and then trust in their process. It's not about perfection or getting it right every time. It's about the exploration, the repetition, the small adjustments they make, the problem solving that happens in their busy little minds and with their busy little hands. These practical life skills, embedded in the rhythm of your everyday, help your child build a sense of order, a connection to their surroundings, and a powerful understanding of their own capabilities. They are learning that they can have an impact. They can contribute. They can do things for themselves. You truly have everything you need right there in your home to foster this incredible development in your toddler. It's about shifting our perspective sometimes, to see the learning potential in the ordinary, to recognize the immense value in these simple, hands-on experiences. By offering these kinds of activities, you are communicating a deep trust in your child's abilities and nurturing their natural desire to be independent and capable. Know that every time you patiently show them how to spread jam on a cracker or celebrate their success in pouring water without a major flood, you are building more than just a skill. You are building their self-esteem, their resilience, and their love for learning. You are nurturing a capable, confident little human being, and that is an incredible gift. You're doing a wonderful job by simply creating these spaces for them to explore and grow. If these ideas for connecting with your toddler through simple practical activities resonated with you, and if you're looking for more ways to support their amazing journey of discovery, please do give this video a like. We'd be so grateful if you'd share it with other parents, friends, or anyone in your life who might find it helpful. And, of course, we would absolutely love for you to subscribe to Family Connection Hub and become part of our community here. We believe so strongly in sharing support, encouragement, and practical wisdom as we all navigate this beautiful, challenging, and ultimately rewarding adventure of raising our families.